everyone, Paige here, energy healer and channel. This is your October energy update. But before I get into it, I would greatly appreciate it if you could take a moment to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content. So initially, October has brought us more of what September left us with, which was a stillness in the energy and a lot of time for taking stock of where we find ourselves. So once again, as I've mentioned many times this year, we've had tremendous change in our lives, and everyone has been affected by this in one way or another. Changes in how you live, what you want out of life, changes in your values, changes in how you see the world, how you see yourself, how you're looking at relationships, how you're looking at your work, how you're approaching things in general, maybe changing in a big way. So September left us sitting with where we found ourselves after so many months of change. And there's kind of an odd contradiction in the energy right now, because it feels like we are simultaneously moving forward at warp speed because the changes are so big and often unexpected, and they're pushing us at a pace that we really can't control. And they're moving very quickly. And at the same time, the energy around us in this moment can feel quite still because there is a lot of retrograde energy still in the planets. So what we have right now is this odd contradiction of feeling like everything is changing very quickly and at the same time, nothing is moving. This is something that we've all been sitting with. And you want to take some time and reflect. It's been an excellent time for reassessing and reflecting on where you are in your life and what needs to change and how you want your life to go going forward. Now, it's important to remember that the changes aren't complete. So we have through the end of this year and into next year to really come into a new place with things. And in particular, October is bringing us two eclipses on the 14th and the 28th. And those eclipses are going to be pivotal in pushing us into the next phase of whatever we have been working through. And this may very well be the final phase that leaves you in a place where you're saying, okay, this is what it is going forward. You may find that you're leaving a job, starting a new job, leaving a home. You may be ending relationships. And those can be close personal relationships, they might be work relationships, it can be all types of big things changing on a large scale. Ultimately, what's happening on an energetic level is we're all going through perceptual shifts and deep internal shifts as a result. Those perceptual shifts completely change how we interpret the world and how we interpret life in general, how we see ourselves, how we see others. And those changes then affect how we interpret our own reality and the reality that we create going forward. One thing that my guides have repeated over and over this year is that this is a year of really putting a lot of intention into what you want to create for yourself, what kind of life you want to live, and leading with your heart. And we also have big changes coming with the heart. I mentioned that in my September update. The last Metatron channeling, the information that was coming through was all about a massive evolution of the heart that was beginning at that time in September. So we are well into that, and I expect that these eclipses are going to push that process forward as well. So I mentioned in September that you may also find moments of reckoning. And remember, your heart is going to play a key role here. And we need to be able to tune into the heart and ask ourselves, what do I know about this situation? What's true for me in this situation? What does my heart want here? It's time to let your heart be your guide, be your compass. And I don't mean that in sort of a fluffy, soft way. This is very strong energy. The energy of the heart is your compass. It is your guide. It's where your soul is speaking. It's speaking through you. It's bringing the information of the soul, the desires of the soul into this physical reality, into this reality that you create every day. So what does your heart want? What is your heart pushing you towards? And it will absolutely align you with what is right for you. It will align you to your purpose. And you'll often find that when you're facing a big decision, your head will be telling you one thing, you'll be working things out in a logical, rational way, and it may all make sense on paper to do something one way, but your heart may be pushing you in another direction. Listen to your heart. Don't ignore it. As we're going through these deep internal shifts, we are all stepping into who we are becoming, who we have been becoming through all of this shift and change this year. And now it's solidifying. Now I'm going to say, I don't think it's completely solid yet. I still think with these eclipses and more changes, more intensity this year, we're going to have a lot more change. But we are ultimately moving into a new self, as it were, a new expression of the self. Again, huge shifts in perception, big shifts in consciousness. So all of this adds up to a completely new way of expressing in the world. And that is exactly what I've been seeing in my client sessions over the last few weeks. The trend has been really a continuation of the changes and clearing out of the last bits and pieces that were keeping patterns in place, but also more of these big changes on a large scale, so out in the field, big changes that are affecting various levels of the self and how that expresses in the energy. So there's been an opening in the energy on these larger levels, expansions, great expansions in the energy, and that then would translate into the physical reality. So these huge changes tend to happen out on a higher level, out in the field, on these soul level pieces that are it's subtle energy, it's harder to define. But what happens is that then trickles down into the more clearly defined energies, electromagnetic energies of the field that are expressed in our physical body, in our physical reality, and how we express and interact with the world around us. So what that means, the translation of all of that, is that these big changes and expansions are happening for you right now. And you want to take advantage of that. You don't want to resist. You don't want to be in a place where you're saying, no, that's not what I wanted. No, this isn't where I'm supposed to be. I had my life all planned out. It was all going just the way I wanted it to. I've been with this person forever. We thought we were soulmates. Whatever it may be, you need to step back and really take stock and listen to your heart and see what's changed in you, and know that it's okay to make big changes. Change can be scary and change can be difficult, but ultimately it pushes us out of places of stagnation and moves us towards much bigger possibilities, more growth, more personal development, and ultimately towards alignment with what we really should be doing in our lives. So hold tight for the rest of this year. There are more changes ahead of you, but know that you can handle whatever is coming your way. You've already gone through the majority of the difficulty. Now you're going through the finishing piece, the settling, the stepping into what's next for you, and realignment with where you should really be in your life, and realignment with how you're going to express in this life. Thanks for joining me. That's your October energy update, and I'll see you next month.